Welcome to the B2T show, where we empower Christian patriots with truth. This is Rick, your host. I'll summarize a little bit about the melatonin and the vitamin C.
Yes, indeed. And I'm very familiar with all the prepping that Les is talking about due to my military training and survival training and in-field work that we do. And then also I got my bug out bag always ready. I always go through it regular, make sure everything's in good condition. I always, like Les said, you always keep everything clean, everything ready before you go to bed. When, anytime something comes empty, you fill it up. I keep my water topped off. I rotate through my food. So I date when I have my food in storage and my supplies, and I rotate through that so it's kept fresh. I rotate through my hundreds of gallons of water I have stored so it's kept fresh. I check on everything all the time. And so you're always ready to go. You never, like when I come back from a backpack, I always clean everything immediately, pack it all back up, and I'm ready to go out the door again. And I've had backpacks where we're carrying 3 gallons of water, so you're carrying like 30 pounds of water, and that's your water for 3 or 4 days. So you learn how to take a bath with a cup of water and a washcloth and completely bathe yourself. I've actually helped 3 big guys bathe, and we bathe in less than half a quart of water, all 3 of us, completely clean. And that includes going to the bathroom and cleaning yourself and, doing like Les said with the bag and all of that. If you're doing caving and stuff, you have to do that in the bag. You're not allowed to leave it in there. And that includes if you're doing dumbs and things, you're not allowed, because you're literally causing smells and everything that have to deal with. Another thing you can do at home is put it in a bucket and get lots of cat litter, and you can cover it up with cat litter, and then spray it with a little bit of what I make is you get the real lemon, which has a little bit of oil in it. You can take lemon and olive oil and put it in a spray bottle and spray it lightly, and that takes the smell out really well.
Great. I appreciate all that advice. I was gonna bring this up for you. There's the Mark Taylor thing we already talked about. This is your email that you sent me, and prayer against coronavirus. We'll come back to that then and pray if you don't mind. But how about I'll put this link here for everybody right here. But the new information from Italy.
Yep. So on that, it's very important. What they learned in Italy is that nobody between 1 and 9 years old, even though could be in lockdown or in a hospital with their parents who have it, they don't get it. So they found out why is that children, and as we get older, your pineal gets calcified, and as that happens, you make less and less melatonin. So the people that are at the highest risk are people who have insomnia, and that's due to the fact your pineal is completely calcified. So you're not getting the melatonin you need. So what you want to do is, depending on age, you can get melatonin in almost any store, even grocery stores carry it now. And you can take melatonin 3 times a day. It will make you sleepy, but most of us are in a lockdown anyway, so take a nap. So you take 1 pill every 3 days. If you're 65 or above, you should be taking
every 3 hours. You mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said every 3 days, so I just want to make sure.
Excuse me, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm a little whacked out. I've been smoking 18 inches of hardwood snow.
Right.
But they're just getting over CV.
Right.
So, thanks to all the prayers, everybody got me healthy, along with what I know in less than 30 hours. I was burning and coughing. I couldn't stop. I drank the elderberry immune boost. It stopped the coughing, and I put my head right over the humidifier with the hydrogen peroxide coming out, and that soothed my sinus passages to where I didn't start coughing again, and then immediately did the MMS. And the National Institute of Health has said that chlorine dioxide does kill it. That's what MMS makes, as well as oxygen therapy.
There's my
hydrogen peroxide in a humidifier.
My humidifier.
Look at that.
And then look at Rocky right by it.
He loves it. Look at that.
So Rocky's laying right by the humidifier. He likes the little humidifier. That's got the 35% grade hydrogen peroxide in it. So You can
Man, it
see.
looks just like the humidifier I have sitting right beside me right now, Rick.
Yeah. Okay.
Doing the same thing, steaming away.
Yeah. But interesting, you talked about selenium is not good, right?
Yeah, you want to remove, if you're taking selenium, you need to remove that until this is gone, because selenium feeds it. It'll make it go absolutely wild. It'll make you very prone to getting it and very hard to get rid of it. So you need to get rid of that. You need to start taking, if you're in an area that's exposed, we've already had, I got it. Somebody in the store is wearing his mask around the neck, and I didn't follow God's advice like an idiot. He was walking down the aisle coughing, and his mask was around his neck. And I held my breath and walked through it instead of God told me to turn around and go the other way. I didn't listen. We get stupid sometimes. It was like, we think we know better in our pride. So I still have, I'm still human. I still make stupid mistakes. So
but I think, yeah. So, but when you're talking about melatonin, you're talking about taking a lot more than this. This is like the what they suggest. But
right, that's the minimum.
But you're going to have to take quite a bit more, right? I think my pills have 2 milligrams. I think you're saying that to do like 2 milligrams 3 times a day type of thing, right? Is what you're saying.
Correct.
Right.
And if you're in the older category or your health is already compromised, especially if you have something like COPD, with chronic lung diseases. Where you can't breathe well already, or you have asthma, or you have heart problems, any organ problems, because one thing that Corona does, especially if you get the other strain, which is unlikely, but unless you're doing adrenochrome that was laced with it, they had a white hat in the P4 lab in Wuhan that laced the adrenochrome with a much more lethal virulent strain, because they make all the adrenochrome for the elites, and that's prima facie evidence. So that's why they're dying more. 1% of the people dying are elites, where they're only 0.0044% of the human population. So the reason for that is that other coronavirus targets the bloodline of Cain much more specifically, but it's only transmissible through fluids. That means, body contact with the other person's fluids. And that's the reason you wear a mask, by the way, is not so much that it's going to cut you breathing it in, it's to keep you from touching your eyes or your face. That's why
I do that all the time. Yeah.
So if you're out and about, wear gloves and goggles and a mask that keeps you from touching your eyes and the face. If you're able to not, a lot of people do it subconsciously. So if you're able to know what you're doing all the time, if you're out and about, even wearing gloves, don't touch your nose, your mouth, or your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get home, have a bag or a box or a plastic barrel like the ones from the food storage that Rick has, and have an empty one of those sitting right outside, and dump that take your gloves off, and dump them right in there and keep it outside, and wash your hands, wash all the surfaces of your skin, everything you bought, wash it down with the Lysol wipes. You can wash it down. UV light also kills it. So if you get a UV light and bathe everything in UV light for 30 minutes, the surfaces, it's dead. It can live on surfaces for the first type that's being transmitted for most people can live on surfaces for up to 14 hours. The other one,
wow,
the more lethal one that's gotten through the adrenochrome, can live on surfaces for 28 hours. And that's what you see in Iran, why they have mass graves, and why these famous people, like in Iran, the top advisor to the Shah got it and died. Mm-hmm. So, and the same thing in the Communist Party, the same thing in Italy with the 6 priests in the Vatican, same thing, because they're all using that, and that's where it was all coming from China. And they put so that when the crimes against humanity trials come up, that'll be prima facie evidence. If you have that strain in your body, it's pretty likely where you got it.
Yeah, so, no question.
For all of us, we need to really keep yourself clean. Don't you're out and about. Touch surfaces. Don't shake hands. Do the Asian way where you bow. Or the Indian where you put your hands in prayer position and bow to the person, so you're not touching. And then take the melatonin 3 times a day. Another thing you can do is get the cheap ascorbic acid, the fractionate of vitamin C called ascorbic acid. And if you take that till you get diarrhea, you're saturated. I know it's not a pleasant way, but it will kill it. So if you got it, it's better than dying from it, because I'll tell you what, it burns and it makes you cough endlessly. And your body starts to ache all over. You get roaring headaches. And so I prefer the diarrhea over that. And that's, I did that with MMS. I kept taking it until I got diarrhea and clean. And then I did a liver gallbladder saltwater cleanse anyway. And I got black tar out.
I want to clarify, you can do melatonin preventative and if you get it, but this ascorbic acid you're talking about is you're going to kind of overdosing on it if you have the flu, right? Not beforehand. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
So to prevent it, use the melatonin.
Right. And again, I want to do the disclaimer that Gene and I are not nutritionists and we are not doctors, and you need to do the investigation yourself and think for yourself. So our normal disclaimer that I put.
Rick and I are not licensed medical professionals of any type. Use your own discernment. What you do, this is theory. This is for entertainment purposes only. Whatever you do is up to your own discretion, under your own choice. If you have medical conditions, pre-existing medical conditions, or you feel the need, always consult your doctor or a licensed professional of that health professional.
Right. You'll see when you go to the health tab here, the first thing I do is that disclaimer. So make sure you understand that disclaimer. But again, this is the stuff that Gene and I have been ordering and working on, and the stuff I'm getting from Dr. DeVore, etc. There is some vitamin C that we're recommending that is not ascorbic acid. That's more natural too. You got it here, as well as you have one here with Dr. DeVore. There's a little video here talking about how he's helped me feel and get so strong. But anyway, just want to make sure you guys understood that. Hey, with that, Gene, I wanted to move before we did the prayer. Is there anything else you want to cover here real quick? I want to talk about the rest, because I know there's some stuff you showed a lot of that on that. But by the way, if you're on Backstage, don't miss Gene. We just did Backstage with Gene on Gene Unleashed, and he went into detail about the arrests. So what can you tell us about what's actually going on right now?
So they are, all the thing that the COVID is fake is not. It is real. I got it. Somebody who got it, me. Okay, right. A person in my wife, I may have got it that way. She didn't come down with it, but a person in my wife's building where she works, although she knew not to go in for 2 weeks, and they were diagnosed last week. So we know people personally that are diagnosed with it as well. And so they are using it as a cover for the rest. So people like Oprah and Madonna, and let's go through the list here. Justin Trudeau, Tom Hanks and his wife, Joe Biden, Ellen DeGeneres, Quentin Tarantino, Charlie Sheen.
Wow, those are big names you're talking about.
Yep, Kevin Spacey, John Travolta.
And these are people that you've got some inside information. There's not any sourcing right now we have, but that are literally been arrested. Is that what you're saying?
They're under house arrest. So they're confined, like in the case of Tom Hanks and his wife, they're confined to their hotel room. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, all these people are saying that they got it. Ellen DeGeneres is saying she's really, really, really sick because she's under actually Alan DeGeneres, but under house arrest and not allowed to go out at all. John Travolta, Steven Spielberg, Jim Podesta. And so a lot of really big names there. And so additionally, Les may know about this, there's some dumps being taken out in China. There's 2 near Luring and 1 near Sibgye, Zibji. So there's 2 dams in the Luring area that are being taken out. They came in at them because underneath the earth is international. It's not a nation's property. From the Baglung, Nepal to take out those. And then the one in Sibji, they came in through Tibet and India to take those out. And then, like everybody's been asking, in Utah, the Douglas Proving Ground, there's military training mission going on there. That's always the cover of it.
They always have the military training for the cover, right?
Yeah, just like they did for the China Lake thing. the
Right.
Presidio. Yep. So they're doing a training at just by the Dugway Proving Ground, which is where one of the DUMs is, and then the Kennecott has already been taken out, which is the LDS church where they had all the Mark Ultras and their gold and stuff, and that's been taken out.